Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. And I figured if I'm going to get on this thing this year, I got to get going. So I am going to get more consistent. I know I've said that before. I've just focused too much of my attention on TikTok, which I'm going to keep doing that channel as well. But I really want to spend more time with YouTube. It's where I do my, excuse me, a little bit longer content. This video won't be super long, but probably 8 to 10 minutes, I'm guessing. I wanted to talk about something that I actually think about a lot, because I've got my 4 kids are, my youngest will be 25 here in a couple of weeks, and my oldest will be 35 next month. And so I've watched them grow up, and obviously, and I compare it to when I was growing up, you know, before the digital age, before cell phones, before social media, which, listen, I dig social media. I have a lot of fun with this. So I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I also see the drawbacks. I see the negatives, which I'm sure everybody does. I'm no genius. But I see the struggles that 20-somethings go through these days. You know, I watch my sons. It's my oldest son is divorced, and he's starting to date a little bit again. My youngest son dates here and there, and you know, they're both fantastic guys. They're just good dudes. They're good-looking dudes, if I do say so myself. But it is a different environment now than it was 40 years ago when I was 22. You know, back then, anybody my age or around my age, let's say over 45 or 50, can kind of relate that, you know, I met several of my girlfriends cruising. Well, nobody does that anymore, from what I can tell. I know there's cities that have outlawed that. We would go out on a Friday and Saturday night, and we go up to the big city, which was like 50,000 people, and cruise the main strip, which was a couple of miles. We'd meet people all the time. I met girls at dances. I went to a lot of dances, bars, you know, but everything was one-on-one. It was in person. People knew how to talk to each other. And I see that becoming a lost art. And it makes me really sad, because I think it's very important for our culture to be able to talk to each other. What you doing, Espeland? This is my puppy Espeland. She's named after the little tiny village my mom is from in Norway. Actually, her maiden name as well. But yeah, listen, it's not like I was without frustration growing up. There was a long period before I turned, let's say 20, where I struggled talking to girls. I was scared of being rejected. And I've said this before, I grew up Mormon. I'm not Mormon any longer. I know they prefer LDS now, but I've been out of that church for many, many years. My parents are in it, and one of my brothers is. And I have nothing but respect. But I went on a Mormon mission back to my home country of Norway in 1983 for a year and a half, which turned out to be a huge blessing. I got to relearn my language. I got to meet all my relatives. In fact, we're going to Norway this August. I just finished planning the trip, and my kids are coming with us, and I'm so excited. But that taught me how to talk to people. I didn't care about rejection anymore. Rejection didn't mean anything to me. You know, it still sucked if a girl blew you off or whatever, but that happens constantly now. We've got lots of friends. We see their younger kid, not young, but, you know, in their 20s, kids. And it's a struggle with that stuff. And it sucks, because you might meet somebody and actually hit it off, and then they do what, you know, they call ghosting. You just don't hear from them anymore. And it seems like such a lost art of being able to talk one-on-one with each other and connect. You cannot connect, in my opinion, over the internet, over social media, over TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. It's not the same as sitting in a bar or a coffee shop or a dance or cruising and talking to somebody, pulling over in a parking lot and bullshitting for a while and just kind of connecting. And you figure out really quick, do we have any kind of connection here? Is there any kind of chemistry? And you figure that out really fast. Most of my girlfriends when I was young, I knew pretty quick if there was a mutual interest there. And they probably did too. Politics and religion never entered the discussions back then. And it's become a huge part of younger people's lives now, which makes me really sad because politics sucks. I rarely talk about politics or religion on my channels. I just have no interest in it. I've said it maybe 3 times now, the connection is being lost, and it's hard to find somebody. I feel bad for young people. I mean, prices are outrageous now. It is hard to go get an apartment. Every generation says, well, it's tough. I never felt that way. I was broke as a 21-year-old, going to college, living in a crappy little apartment with some buddies, spending, $150 a month for rent. And that seemed like a lot to me back then. When I came to the US, I couldn't work off campus because I wasn't a US resident or citizen. I was just there on a student visa. So I had to work at the college for like $4.50 an hour in the early 80s to mid 80s actually. So I never had much money, but it never bothered me. I worked my ass off. I worked all summer, 70, 80-hour weeks to save up some to take back to school. And I loved it. I never felt put out that I had to do that. I never ran to mom and dad and said, hey, I need this and I need that. I figured I'm a grown man now. I will figure this out. And I did, and I struggled, and I worked, and I didn't make a lot of money for a long time. Not that I'm rich now, I'm absolutely not, but we're comfortable. I make a good living working hard as a contractor. And I still meet people, but I meet them in the old-fashioned way. I'm on the road a lot. I used to go to bars quite a bit just to BS with somebody. Some guy is sitting at the bar and we'll strike up a conversation about sports or whatever. And I know that is becoming so rare with younger people now. And I don't know what the solution is because social media is not going anywhere. Internet's not going anywhere. So I don't really know what the answer is, but I just thought I'd put it out there. I would love to hear comments. Do you have kids that age? Are you that age? If you're in your late teens to early 30s and this is something you struggle with, I'd love to hear your stories, your comments. And if you dig the videos, please give me a thumbs up and a subscription. I keep meaning to put that at the beginning of videos, but it's not at the top of my mind. That's not why I'm doing this. So I hope you dig it. I hope you have a great day. For those of you in Norwegian, tack for sist. Velkommen tillbaka nästa gång. Hoppas snackes snart igen. For those of you in Norwegian, thank you for the last time. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again soon. I said I'd keep this to 8 to 10 minutes. We're at 8.5 minutes, so I am going to sign off and wish you a beautiful Monday. Thanks for watching. Peace. Love.